Season 8 was kind of boring. Season 8A is one of if not the best seasons on the show. 8B was still good, but kind of brought it down a bit. But honestly, if you look at the plots of 8A, the mole, every character moving on, Clea getting cut, it was so dramatic and engaging. I personally think season 8 was pretty alright. Far from the best, but definitely not the worst. Season 8B was what really let the season down though. It went from having an insane amount of drama and tension in part 1, to lackluster and insignificant storylines in part 2. 8A was so much fun and so crazy. I hated season 7, because everyone was so rude, and written so childlike. However, season 6 and season 8 are my personal faves. Absolutely agree. My biggest problem with season 7 is A Troop themselves. Everyone on the team is genuinely not a nice person to some extent, some clearly worse than others. I'm not sure why there was such a dip in team chemistry between season 6 and 8. Some say it's because Noah and Jackie left the team, but if that was the case, A Troop must have had so many deep-rooted issues with each other before this season even happened. I love season 7. It is like my third favorite DNS season, rewatched it like 5 times I think, since it came out. Yeah, it is not written as good as the OGs or anything, but it was really entertaining. Damn, sorry for the season 7 slander. I can definitely agree it was entertaining, but for me, it got tired quick and a few plots felt forced and nonsensical, especially the further we got into the season. Anthony is potentially the best dance captain so far. He is up there with Noah, as he is proactive, a quick thinker, thoughtful, owns up to his mistakes, is not afraid to stand up for what is right, and he deeply cares about others. I can definitely agree he is all those qualities you listed, but Noah level? I'm not sure that is quite true yet. He's only been dance captain for just under half a season, and has so much potential, if he keeps his captaincy in season 10. I'll let it marinate, and I'll get back to you on that when S10 drops. Sloan and Tiffany get too much hate. I mean, I cannot judge the tone of the comments sometimes, so it might just be a funny thing to joke about within the fandom, but I think they were great dancers in their preferred styles, and were good additions to A Troop as characters too. Tiffany for leaving the E-Girls, Sloan for her emotional support through LaTroy's situation with his dad. Completely, 100% agree. Fans have been conditioned to think that flips and acro is what makes a good dancer when that is simply not true. What about musicality and style? Sloan and Tiffany have both of those in excess. It's also nice to see characters who look genuinely happy when they dance. Having fun is personally my first rule of dance. What is the point of doing it if you're not being yourself and enjoying what you are doing? Although these two don't have crazy tricks like some others, they have the most heart out of many TNS characters. Eldon has no right to be in every season. I would not say Eldon doesn't have a right to be in every season, but he definitely doesn't need to be. I think the reason to why he is though, is because Isaac has choreographed a few pieces for TNS, and if Isaac wants to keep coming back to the show, and the production crew agrees, then it is what it is. I do think you are only saying this though, because you don't like Eldon as a character, which, same. But Michelle has been present in every season as well, and I haven't heard anyone say she has no right to be there, so I definitely think you are somewhat biased. Amanda beat Michelle with her solo at Nationals. Yes, Showstopper is an iconic dance. But Amanda's solo was more technical and clean, and I think in a real world competition setting, Amanda would win. I've only gone to one dance competition ever, and it was a team street dance camp, so I'm really not sure on what judges are looking for in a contemporary solo. Overall, I agree with this opinion though. While Michelle's solo was fun and upbeat, I do think I've always liked Amanda's dance a little bit more, on a choreographic level. Alfie is not as bad as people say he is. How come people love Beth? I love her too, but hate Alfie. Beth was also in the way of Chili. Alfie was a nice guy too. The opinions are supposed to be unpopular, not wrong. JK. How do I say this without people getting their pitchforks out? I'm not anti-Alfie. I'm in no way an Alfie stan, far from it actually. He was clingy and annoying and a homewrecker, but that was basically the extent of it. I've said this for what feels like a trillion times before, but I never got the Alfie hate. I don't get why everyone rips on him, and so many of the fans who do drag him for filth don't even like Geely. It feels like people are just hating to hate. Riley was clearly way worse than Alfie in season 4. She cheats on James with Alfie, who is a dancer at her studio. She then continues to lead Alfie on while leaving James in limbo, despite him being absolutely devastated. She then stands Alfie up at the airport with no message, after agreeing to go on a trip with him, and gets back together with James. really is clearly the antagonist here, but y'all won't admit that because of your bias for OG characters. I said what I said. I did not like Rachel's S3 hair. Did not think I'd get an opinion on hair for this show, but here we are. I had to do some googling because I was pretty sure this was her natural hair color. Apparently, it's not. All I'm going to say is that the season 3 hair was a choice, and that Briar suits blonde insanely well. Michelle belongs with John from Lost and Found. Her and Eldon getting back together makes absolutely no sense, especially when it was clear in season 9 that Eldon was not over Talia. I could not believe the John Shell storyline was cut so abruptly and then never mentioned in the TNS universe, but one episode in season 4. In my perfect world, John and Michelle are together, and Theldon are still a thing. I absolutely agree with you that Michelle and Eldon getting together again is illogical and not needed. I don't even know of someone who wanted those two to be a couple again, considering how much of a dumpster fire their relationship was in season 2. Like, nobody was asking for this. Another case of the TNS writers making wacky ideas canon. Heathcliff is the best written character in the show. Fight me, lol. Yes. The writing for the next step has progressively got worse over time, but with Heath's season 8 plot, they really brought back that generation 1 excellence. Even in season 9, when he had way less screen time, the emotional range of Heath made me love him even more. There are only a handful of characters, from shows aimed at kids, I would truly consider to be well fleshed out and intricate, so this very much feels like an achievement on the writers, and on Carter's part. I think that's why I cling on to his character so dearly. In my opinion, Heath is not that important for the team, and I find it funny when they call him the heart of the team and things like that. I would not care if he leaves TNS on. I'm sorry, do you know who runs this account? I'm gonna defend Heath till the day I die. To everything you said, wrong. Incorrect. You have been blocked. Come back when you have the correct opinion. If they were going to break one of the only OG couples up in season 9, I would have rather it be Chili instead of Theldon. Almost half the fandom does not want them together anymore, including Brittany herself. Plus, we do not even know what James is doing now. He left to join Lost and Found, but then the show got cancelled, and we do not even know if he is still part of the band. Having him just be in New York without any knowledge on if he is still doing music just makes his exit seem pointless. Instead, they could have had him be in Eldon's place instead, feeling lost after the band breaking up and completely ending his relationship with Willie this time. So, he could have come to see the studio at the same time Piper did and decide to help out. He would do sort of the same as what Eldon did, but in this case, him and Michelle falling for each other would not feel reused and actually match up with what the original plot was going to be. I cannot really grasp how unpopular the Chili ship is today, especially because I see fan edits of them all the time still. I assume most fans have given up on them because realistically, they are not good together. I basically agree with everything you said. That Jilly should have been the ones to break up, and that it feels pointless that James shows up in season 8 without an actual explanation about what he's doing now. I think James and Michelle would be a big shock to new TNS fans, not knowing they were an OG ship in the fandom, and by the writers, but honestly, I'm down for it. The Series 3 TNS vs Elite battles was useless. Don't get me wrong, they were entertaining, but I didn't really see the point in it as a whole. Genuine question. What do you mean by useless? I would say it was a pretty significant plot that could have, and still did dramatically change the direction of the show. The battles were the only alternative Lucien offered after buying the building. It was either merge with Elite or TNS literally got shut down. I wouldn't call that useless. It is crazy to me that we have antagonists like Mariah and Lucien, especially after season 7 where TNS barely had a studio head. I found Lucien compelling from seasons 1 to 3, I always found Mariah pathetic. I don't think Emily and Nick not being present means there can't be a main, adult antagonist. While it definitely does look pathetic that Lucien and Mariah were directly coming after literal teenagers in later seasons instead of threatening the studio heads, I still think they did their roles as antagonists well. Honestly, I love Mariah. She is so over the top, but she can get away with it. While Lucien seems to be the one to come up with more extravagant plans, Mariah is the one to play all the dirty tricks. She comes across as sneaky and so sly, and you know what, I love that for her. I prefer the plot lines in the first 3 seasons, Gen 1, but I prefer the characters in Gen 3. Loving your vids so far, keep going hun, this channel can grow. Firstly, thank you for the kind words. Just a minuscule bit of support means the world to me. As for your unpopular opinion, I had to really think about this. I think TNS has had quite a few compelling plots and great characters scattered throughout all seasons. I think most people would completely hype up Generation 1 for storylines and characters alike, but I do have to agree with you. Gen 1 plots generally seem to be more thought out and have actual consequences and ripple effects to them. As for characters, for me it's less of a generational divide, but more of a seasonal divide. My favorite set of characters are from season 2, season 6 and season 9 when it comes to A Troop alone, but if we were looking at B Troop, I'd say season 3, 7, and 8 have my favorite set of characters. I love Nick, but I'm biased because I love a British character, as I'm British. I love Nick too, but I don't think it's because he's British and I'm biased. I think it's because he feels so abstract in the best way possible. Definitely one of the most unique characters in the next step, and he's just so lovable and adorable too. I despised Rachel in season 7. I know everyone hates Summer that season because she's written pretty badly, but I'd argue so was Rachel. She spends the whole season throwing hissy fits whenever things don't go her way, and any mistakes Summer makes, she's claiming that to be another reason among multitudes as to why she shouldn't be dance captain. Her main reason is that nobody voted for her when one, the team barely ever votes from their dance captain too, all while being extremely self-centered that season. I understand what you mean. I can't deny how self-centered Rachel was and has been throughout the show. I do agree she was not well written and hardly gave Summer a chance. She was way too critical of Summer for the wrong reasons, clearly blinded by the resentment she has always felt towards her and because of her dream of being dance captain. I think the reason why people hate Summer more than Rachel in season 7 though is because Rachel is kind of given a redemption arc at Dance Mania. We can all agree that both of them leaving the team and going solo at one point was inconsiderate to A Troop, but where Rachel and Summer differ is that one owned up to her mistakes and one didn't. Summer never apologizes to A Troop and deflected the guilt when the team had a go at her for it, only for her to turn around, tell A Troop that they were going to Dance Mania without her and suddenly everyone saw her as selfless. Summer very much had a victim complex, while Rachel did not, and knew exactly what she was doing. I did not care for Step Inside. I get that they needed to exit the second generation of A Troop properly, and I like what the plot did for Rachel and Heath mainly, but I was just waiting for the focus to be on new A Troop and Nationals. The Step Insiders should have established their exit in season 7, regardless of whether they won or lost Dance Mania, especially Rachel. I wasn't crazy over Step Inside either, but I'm not sure how else they would exit so many characters at once without drawing more attention away from B Troop / the new A Troop than they already had. I did not feel connected to the new characters at all in season 8 because of the screen time given to old graduating A Troopers in 8 and 8B. Having them leave at the end of season 7 instead is a very appealing idea in my eyes. Maybe if Dance Mania occurred in the middle of season 7, we could have still had them competing, the subplots with B Troop, and get a full fleshed out story of all the A Troopers leaving. It would be an interesting change up in the show's structure, but would definitely benefit season 8. La Tammy was not needed at all. So, I like La Tammy more than La Sloan, but I think both were unnecessary. The writers have this huge problem of putting characters that are new and not well established into relationship drama. I did not care about their love triangle, because I didn't even care about them as individuals. Especially because Amy has a harem of boyfriends after season 4. I wish I could just go back in time and tell the writers that they didn't need to do this. That no one cared and that no one was invested.